Did you get all your makeup off? Awesome. I know. It's absolutely adorable. I've been meaning to get one to match it, but I haven't had a chance yet, so. No, come on. Totally ready to get going. It'll be super fun. I know you came a long way, and to show my gratitude, well, and just to say thank you for being my friend. I'm gonna do your makeup tonight, if you didn't guess that already from all the stuff I have laid out and the fact that we've kind of discussed that you love having your makeup done. So, here you go. I'm actually going to start with rosemary. I love the way rosemary smells. What does it have to do with makeup? Nothing. It just smells wonderful. I know you know what rosemary smells like, but it's a great scent. I had it laying out here, so I thought I'd bring it over with my little setup for you. And I even laid it on tissue paper for you. We're special. You should feel special. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, well, before you get offended, I am going to sort of reclaim your face a little bit, not exactly. I'm just gonna get the rest of what you might not have gotten with the makeup remover off before. Is that okay? Okay. Well, I've got a headband for you. Just make sure we get the hair out of your face. I meant to give this to you before, so I'm sorry if I didn't. Well, I'm sorry I didn't, because obviously I didn't. You're silly. So let's get this on. Just gonna pull it. Okay. So get a bit of hair out of your face. I want to be able to do your makeup with freedom. Oh, don't make some bad American joke about me doing makeup with freedom. Okay. So now that your hair is out of your face, and I keep trying to keep my hair out of my face, but I'm sorry if I keep moving it because it is not obeying me. Such is the way of hair. I'm going to start with that cleanser, and just think of it as a finisher, just to get the rest of it out, the little bits. And it comes in the cute box. Why am I whispering? You mean besides the fact that it's late and that we're being silly and doing makeup and hopefully going to finish with a pillow fight afterwards? Okay. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna win. We'll see. But first I'm gonna do your makeup. So we'll have a beautiful pillow fight. Alright. Now I'm gonna cleanse your face. I'm gonna spritz a little bit of water and I'm gonna rinse this cleanser off. So here's my little cotton pad. I'm showing you everything, like a demonstration, because I think it's nice and because I think it's really pleasant when someone says, oh, I'm going to use this for you, and then I'm going to do this. People like order. I'm not generalizing you. Okay, a little bit, but I'll speak for myself. Order and predictability are a wonderful, comfortable feeling for me. Okay, I'll get on with the cleanser. Cleanser, face. I have all necessary things to equip my arsenal of makeup or something. Well, that's my arsenal. You are my target. Okay. Yeah. I know it drives me crazy when, one, I have a hair on my face, and two, the thing touches the cotton pad, so I do apologize. But let's establish now, if there were any cooties to be shared, we would have shared them already. So, no worries there. Okay. Cleanser. Cleansing everything, including my hands at the moment. And face. Now I just have a little bit to get off. I'm going to go in a nice circular motion. I'm not exfoliating, but I am moving. I want to use the word sediment. Remnants. Anything that may have been left from before. I know you're using a good makeup remover, but there's always a little bit left until you shower, and we'll do that later. I mean, you're going to shower later? Yeah. Anyway. Okay, and close your eyes for me, please. Please keep them closed because I don't want this to sting. I will be putting a bit of water over it to get that off. Well, you can open them if you like, but I might sting a little bit in case it gets in your eyes. So I'm almost done, and then I will get a rinse on it in just a moment. Did a good job. Okay, I think that's good. Set this. And put the cleanser on my hand. Okay, so now they're all frothy. The smell? Oh, it's a tea tree oil and I think aloe vera. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. I use it every night. I should probably use it every morning too, but I'm a little naughty and I'm always in a hurry in the morning. Well, you know, on work days. Well, because we need to sleep. You know how I am with sleep, and I know how you are with sleep, which is part of why I'm doing this. Because what could possibly be more relaxing than having your makeup done and then getting to go to bed? Well, okay, many thanks. But I'd say this is something pretty nice. It's something I enjoy. So, let's bring back Mr. Cotton Holder. Maybe it's a Mrs. I don't know. It is a receptacle, so maybe it is female. I don't know. I have a little water spritzer here, and just get the rest of the cleanser off. I'm sorry if the floor makes obnoxious noises. And I'm sorry if my neighbors make obnoxious noises, because all of the above can happen, but that's okay. Yes, my hands are clean. Do you think I'd be doing this if they weren't? Oh, have some faith. Okay. No, it's just water. Just getting that residue off. Oh, you should have hair right there. They always seem to escape. Oh, it's incredible. It's really just the makeup. You are blessed with wonderful skin. Oh, hush. And close your eyes, please. I'm trying to be gentle. I know you always have to be careful with the skin over your eyes and under your eyes. It's just so thin. Nose. Almost done. Chin and a bit underneath. I don't know. We don't really have a word for this part, do we? I think in turkeys it's the, what is it, the waddle or something? No, not because you look like a turkey. Turkeys are cute. Well, I don't know. I've never really met a turkey, so maybe they're not very nice. Anyway. Okay. Just drying my hands off. Oh, drying my hands. I don't really want to. You ready for the makeup proper? I don't know. Let's see. I have a base. It's a pore minimizer actually, but I'm not really sure that you need that right now. I mean, you don't need it in general, to be honest, but there's just something that's fun to have. Or rather, it's something that's fun to have. So we can hang on to it, and maybe tomorrow night we can use it, but I don't really think just for a practice run it's necessary. Yeah, I can definitely show you afterwards. For sure. Let's keep going with the makeup because I know you're sleepy. Okay. So I'm going to. I know those crinkles. Don't even laugh at me. I actually keep this brush in the bag it came in just because I love listening to it when I open it and take it out. I'm going to just do foundation, and I'm actually, what would you say, an anti-foundationist, because I feel if, you have good skin, don't cover good skin. I heard that once, don't cover good skin, and you really do have, there are parts, but everyone has their little bits. I'm just going to cover the bits for you, and this is great because I can blend this one, and that's why I love it. I don't have to worry about brands right now. we go. Oh, I love setting things down just for that crinkly noise. Okay, so I'm going to primarily do the areas where you would expect one would need a bit of extra coverage, and I'm really anti super coverage, but it's fun sometimes to aim for that flawless look. So we'll start under your eyes. I'm going to actually use another brush for under your eyes to get a bit closer to the bottom, because I find with this one it's very difficult to actually reach the parts I need to. And then your forehead. I'm just going to do a bit of spot blotting. I'm not quite sure what the word is. And then blend. This is so peaceful for me. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you for coming here. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I'm just so glad that we can do something together, and it's something that makes you happy. It makes me happy too. Now, it's your chinny chin chin. There we go. Now you're lucky. You really don't have much that needs to be done. I know I keep going, but that's because I can always find something. Okay. I think that's good for the foundation. Hence why we call it foundation. Beginning of your makeup. So let's go ahead and put the sticker away. And I said I had that other brush for under your eyes. I'm just going to use the rest that I have on my hand for filling in those creases. I know it's a little bit dark, but don't worry, they're clean. Okay, so look up, please. Thank you. And the other one. I know it's always the nightmare under your eyes. Well, not yours, but just in general. Because you don't want it to be super white, but you also don't want to look like you haven't slept in a few days. So I think that's good for right there. Wonderful. So that's the foundation. In this case, I prefer a non-liquid liner because I want the ability to smudge, and with the liquid liner you have more precision, but you do have less smudginess. So I'm going to dot this one along your lash lines, and then I'm actually going to use a proper smudger to do its job and smudge along your lash line. And that helps create a bit of a smoky eye, but we're actually not going for smoky eye here, we're going for hidden smoky eye, or something like that. So, close your eyes for me, please, and if you could make your lids as wide as possible, so like that, just really long that will help me. I'm going to pull them out gently, just to help me dot them a bit. Thank you. Okay, so dotting a tiny bit. I could draw a whole line, but I think it's better to do it this way. And the other. There we go. And before I smudge that, let's go ahead and do your water lines. So right underneath, you have big, beautiful eyes, and this will help define them. So you just have to not move. Can you do that for me? Okay. So just pull a little bit. I'll be very gentle. You always have to be careful with the skin around your eyes. Alright. Just a little definition there. And a little definition there. You have such beautiful eyes. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and smudge the bits that I put, I'm going to smudge the eyeliner I put on your lash line in a dotted form, and that'll give it a more blended look and hopefully a more natural look. I know it's still black, but it's a nice sort of mélange of colors when you do that. So please close your eyes again. Thank you. Start here. I'll try and be gentle. You never really want it to. Just needs a tiny bit of smudging. I think that's good. Actually, what? Sorry. I'm just gonna grab a little cotton bud. You have a little spot right here. The eyeliner went awry, so just close your eyes again, please. I'm gonna use this to just get it off your eye. Oh, your eyelid. Thank you. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. I'll save the cotton bud in case any more makeup mishaps. Alright, now the next thing is going to be the primary makeup coverage and what I'll use for your eyeshadow and your bronzer and your blush and your general glow. I know, isn't that wild? Well, you said you'd really liked the golden look that I'd had going lately. So that's what I'm giving you, and it's a really great summer look. It's really shimmery, and it gives you that sort of, I don't know, very glowing in the sunlight look. Okay, maybe that's a bit much. But anyway, it's really pretty. So it's a wonderful sort of all-in-one usage thing. And I'm going to start with your eyeshadow, which will finish blending all the smudging that I just did. And then we'll go to your bronzer and your blush. And then I'll do an all-over shimmer, which I think is what you've been noticing and that you appreciated in the makeup that I've been doing. So let's go ahead and do that eyeshadow. I'm going to do it quite similar to mine. A very light neutral shade on the inner crease and a darker bronzer shade, in this case, on the outer end. I'm not going to define the inner crease, or pardon me, the outer crease extensively because I've found that with this particular type of makeup, you only need to do so much before it sort of does it for you. I will use the brush that is included because I do really like how angled it is. I think it's quite useful, and I have a couple other angled brushes, but I do need to replace a few of them, so I'm going to use this one right now. I'll start with a lighter color on the interior of the lid. That way it just opens. Okay. Close your eyes for me, please, and as wide as you possibly can. And that way I have as much of a space to use to cover. Thank you. Okay. No, you're doing a wonderful job. I know it's sometimes difficult to sit still for this long or to... Yeah, there. Thank you. Sometimes it's difficult to let someone else just take charge of what your face will look like for a little while. So, thank you for trusting me. You're beautiful anyway, but I'm doing my best to enhance that natural beauty. Okay, so I did the inner part, and now I'm going to use a darker color for the outer side. Same brush, they'll all blend together. They all look nice together. Now, the other one. Excellent. I find that just a little bit of eyeshadow goes a long way, especially if you have heavily lidded eyes, which, exactly. So, sorry, the floorboards here are so creaky. Just a bit more. You know, I'm always such a perfectionist about that. I'm going to start by contouring your cheekbones. I was an anti-contour, as you know, if you can say that, for quite a while, but once I realized the joy of contouring, I couldn't resist. And we can talk about what I'm actually using later, but right now I just want you to enjoy the fact that I'm doing your makeup and the feeling of the brushes against your skin. Okay. So these are going to be a bit darker in color, and I'm going to use a brush that is elongated because you need to be able to follow the lines of the cheekbone. And for those of us that have not been blessed with incredibly prominent cheekbones that need no definition but themselves, we have bronzer and other things. So I'm go ahead and start here, and I will actually get lighter and then blend with it at the end, or blend it over at the end, because I find that if I start with lighter colors and move towards darker and then blend, the entirety of the face is a bit too dark, so, or rather it doesn't match the colors correctly. So here's bronzer, and this will give some definition to those cheekbones of yours, which are quite lovely. So, can you, I know, just do that for me, please? Yes, the ridiculous fish face, which is absolutely perfect for helping me figure out where your cheekbones are. Thank you. I may use a bit more than I need now. I promise I'll blend it out afterwards, but I'd rather make sure I have enough there. Just like that. It's perfect. No, I don't know if the elongated strokes matter, but you look great. Okay, and I'm going to just blot that on a little napkin I've got right there to get the excess off, because I'm also going to use this for your blush and for full highlighting, although I do have a secondary blush brush and I want to use both. I'm going to use another set of these for your blush part. Just the apples of your cheeks. Keep them nice and rosy, because rosy cheeks are wonderful. A little bit more on that side. I know, I always have a tendency to want to overdo blush accidentally, so I have to be careful. That's good. And what I'm actually going to do is use a different brush to blend out the blushness, as it were, of that color, because it wasn't until more recently than one might expect that we started using these angled brushes and this contouring. And that's why you'll find during the 20s, 1920s, perhaps before, that women had quite rosy apple cheeks. It was due to the type of brush that they used. It's amazing how function influences fashion. There are numerous examples of that. I'm not boring you to tears while I do your makeup with history lessons. Okay. Wow. Even if I hold still, please. Thank you. A little bit more here. And a bit more on that side. I know I'm getting so incredibly close for an American. I do value our personal space, so no laughing. No, I understand. It's It's always a little bizarre. Sorry, this thing's driving me crazy. It was a shirt that I bought a long time ago, and I thought I'd get all creative with, and it just drives me crazy now because it never stays where it should. Anyway, so we've got your bronzer, we have your blush done. So, half of your contour. Now I'm going to do the actual proper contour. Thankfully your face is somewhat similar in shape to mine, so I'm going to approximate my best as to how I'm going to contour. There's only slight deviations for the most part. So. These contours are actually the highlights. So the bronzers are the contours. The highlights are the contrast to that. And that's a much lighter color. Do a bit on your forehead, the area here, sort of over your brow bone, just lighten it a little bit. Tiny bit. Under your eyes. You don't want it to be too white, or you'll look, kind of silly. And exactly, right there. I'm sorry. Well, that's why we're not asleep yet, right? Because they haven't gone to sleep. The neighbors, I mean. It's party time for everyone. We're partying, right? We're having a makeup party. We're having a beauty party. And then we'll go to sleep very, very soon. Okay. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to do with this little palette is actually a full face coverage. And when I say coverage, I don't mean coverage in the sense of a foundation, but just a glow that comes over your face. It's quite lovely, and which is probably the reason that you had said something about my makeup to begin with. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend what I have here with this brush and just brush it over your face nice and gently. None of the pigments mixed together, so you don't have to worry. You really don't have to worry about them coming out in funny colors or whatever it might be. It's fabulous. Close your eyes, please. Thank you. I know I started to whisper as it gets late. You're probably tired too. But you look so beautiful. We'll take a couple pictures before bed, okay? I mean, we'll do this again tomorrow, but of course it'll be a little different. And it's always wonderful to have memories. We're almost done, so don't worry. I know you're not worried. I know. Okay. So let's see what's next. Got everything for your face, for the most part. Mascara, very important. And it doesn't need to be dramatic, it just needs to be there. So we'll go ahead and do wheel. I always say wheel, and it's not the royal we, I just mean, you know, us together. Just a regular mascara. No need for false lashes for now. I have them, but I don't think it's necessary for the moment, or in the majority of cases. But they are fun, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get your mascara going. This one, please. Perfect. Thank you. And I know it's difficult to get a mascara that you're completely happy with. There's always something. But really, it's about the brush, I think. A little bit more. And of course, this won't be our last makeup night. I know, well, as soon as I get the box, we'll have our surprise makeup night, and it'll be super fun. I know, I'm so glad that you're here. I know it's far, but thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll keep going. Look out, please. There we go. I'm so much better with my right hand. I use my left as well. And look down again one more time. Just a bit of a zigzag pattern there. Look up one last time. I promise it's really the last. Perfect. Thank you. Alright. Well, okay. I promised it was the last, but maybe almost not quite the last. We'll see. I'm gonna let your mascara dry now. And while I do that, I'm just going to brush out your eyebrows. You are so lucky to have eyebrows that don't really need a lot of maintenance. And this amazing little eyebrow brush combined with mascara brush, which you'll see afterwards, will be great for just keeping them in order. But you actually don't need any color, and I didn't even bother pulling out an eyebrow pencil because I already knew that your eyebrows were perfect. So let's go ahead and just brush them a little bit. Yeah. It's still nice to have that feeling of having your eyebrows brushed and groomed, because I think it's something that we often assume is not needing like brushing. And while they don't necessarily need it, they can benefit from it. Oh, I make no apologies for being a perfectionist. Even if you're just going to take your makeup off right afterwards, I want you to be beautiful now. You're beautiful anyway, but Why not? Why not always strive for perfection? Okay. So I think the mascara has dried enough for me to use the other side of this brush and to just pull out any clumps that I may have left there. It doesn't look too bad, but let's go ahead and if you could just make a face like that, please. Please. The elongated lashes. Well, I know you can't elongate them yourself. Just eyes closed. Thank you. Oh, just a tiny clump there. Really not much, actually. Oh, you probably didn't really even need that side. Except for the beautiful noise it makes. What do you mean I'm weird? You like the noise too, don't you? I can't keep doing that because it's just got a beautiful noise. And I have to keep doing your makeup. Yeah. I totally agree. There are only a couple of things left. And we'll get all cleaned up for bed. So, lip color. You're going for a more golden or bronze natural look. And I have two options. One is more of a maple color. Actually, I think it's called maple something. What's that color? It looks more brown than it actually comes off. It's a bit. I'd say it's a bit more orange than you would expect. But a maple tree is like brown, orange, and yellow. Lots of different colors. And then I also have a gloss, which is super fun, and that I'm presently wearing. It's supposed to match your peach and stuff. I just really like it, and I think it looks good, so you can use this too if you don't want an actual lipstick. But I have to admit that the best thing about this one is I know, right? It's super fun, and it's almost impossible for me to put lip gloss on now without going and by that I mean I totally make lightsaber noise when I put lip gloss on. A little too bright. You've seen how it looks? Okay, we can definitely do that one. And then if you want tomorrow we can do the lip gloss. Or you can actually do them both, of course. Yeah, I have other ones, but I think the other colors are really, really bright and they wouldn't go as well with the rest of the colors. Here's the lipstick. Yeah. So we'll see how it is tonight, and if you don't like it, we can always take it off and do another one. Yeah, absolutely. Right now. Pucker for me, please. Perfect. I won't do it too thick, just enough. Thank you. And then lastly, and then perfect. Alright. Nope. Now we're almost done. I just have a couple of other things for you. Not really a couple. And you've got all your makeup done, which looks amazing from this end and no, from over here. Well, from my angle, you look fabulous. Or because you're beautiful and because I did a good job, but I'll take a little bit of credit. But only a tiny bit, I promise. And the last thing I want to do is give you a finishing spray. I know you're going to take this off in just a little bit, but I want to see how it feels on your skin. And if you have any reactions to it, of course, I don't think you will, but I just want to make sure you feel okay with it on, and that way you'll be comfortable. So, give you a couple of spritzes of this. And after that, I have a surprise for you. It's a good surprise, I promise. Okay, close your eyes, please. I want to make sure everything's set correctly. Okay. Just a few more. Excellent. The last thing I have is not makeup. It's just something I wanted to do for you. But I totally lied. I've got two things that I want to do for you, but they aren't makeup. The first thing is a scent, and you can't just have your makeup done without having some kind of lovely scent associated with it. This one's jasmine. If you don't like it, then we can find something else that's more suited to your tastes. I happen to be a jasmine fan, so let's try it on you. It's an essential oil, and it's got this beautiful shimmer to it, so I'm just going to put a little bit on your wrists. You can rub it here if you'd like. So if you could put out your wrists for me, please. Thank you. And the other. And you can just rub a bit right here. I put here and here sometimes. It's quite pungent, yes. It feels like you just walked into a room filled with jasmine. It's a very sparkly room. That's the last actual thing that you put on you in that sense that I want you to have, but I have one more thing that I hope you'll like, and I think you might enjoy for tomorrow. And that is just a bracelet. I know it's something simple, but you told me what you would be wearing tomorrow, and I thought this would go with it, so if you like it and you enjoy it, I know it even makes a really beautiful noise. Well, if you think it'll match your outfit and it makes you happy, it's all yours. It was a gift, and as much as I love the gift, it'll match your outfit better than mine. So I'm very, very grateful, and I think that there's so much to be benefited from this. So it's up to you. Okay? We can just do that same makeup tomorrow if you'd like. And let me know if you think that jasmine scent is pleasant. We can use that again, or we can find you another one that you like. But you've just been so wonderful. So, thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you let me do this. I know it's something that you said that you appreciated and that you enjoyed. So, you know where all the makeup removers are and all the cleansers are before bed. So, let's go get our makeup off, and maybe we can have that pillow fight before bed. Or we can have it with our makeup on. It doesn't really matter. We'll see.